Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is the second Doctor Strange movie within the MCU. The movie features no other than Benedict Cumberbatch playing the portrayed role of Doctor Strange for the numerous amount of times he has done within the MCU. And this movie follows on from the aftermath of Spider-Man No Way Home, and he is very interested in the multiverse, following a sort of creature coming in from the multiverse into the middle of New York unexpectedly, and he wants to find out more about all these different universes, as you previously see in No Way Home. Hate to spoil it for you, but if you ain't gonna seen it, all the other Spider-Mans from other worlds, Tobey Maguire's, Andrew Garfield's, came in to the world, and all these villains as well. So Doctor Strange is very increasingly interested, let's put it that way, after seeing this creature come in, and is it dangerous, is it this, is it that? So he wants to learn more about it. So to learn more about it, he goes to his friend, shall we say, his friend Wanda Maximoff, to find out more about it. So what I liked about this new addition to the MCU is the story. The story was quite unique, quite indifferent to the other Doctor Strange movie which we watch, as that one more focused on Doctor Strange himself. However, this one isn't about Doctor Strange himself, funny enough. It's more about Wanda's character, who is now the Scarlet Witch. It is more about everything in general, the multiverses, and him learning more and more about the multiverse and finding out what sort of goes on in these other worlds and what not to do and what to do and things like that. And he finds out more about why the Scarlet Witch wants America, who came through the portal at the same time as the creature and a dead version of Doctor Strange, in which he wants to now find out, who is this other Doctor Strange? Which world did he come from? How can we stop Maximoff from, creating some fucking panic within the multiverse? And it's just sort of like a great, well put together story. And the whole moral of the story is that she wants to go and see her children, in which at the end of WandaVision you'll know that her children disappeared because they weren't sort of real, as she'd captured these normal citizens and placed them in roles like movie roles and in this TV show world sort of thing, and that these kids aren't hers, and that she had to close it all down in order to, so people wouldn't kill her and be a dick and everything like that. She just wanted to be left alone, but that couldn't happen anymore. I think this story adapts onto the previous movies of like Spider-Man No Way Home. It definitely goes on from WandaVision. And to be fair, even though it's a Doctor Strange movie, I didn't feel that this was sort of Doctor Strange's movie, because it felt more of it's more of the Scarlet Witch, and it's more of America Chavez coming into it, because she comes in as this dimension jumper, in which she can jump between different dimensions and different worlds of the same reality, in which is something I think that will be adapted into future movies. I also like how they plan to take down the Scarlet Witch, as their first idea of the Book of Vishanti, which was through the multiverse and in this sort of like void area where the Book of Vishanti was, and the book was actually destroyed by the Scarlet Witch. It was interesting then to see Doctor Strange and see how he planned to take down the Scarlet Witch without all of this power from the Book of Vishanti. And instead of him, admitting to defeat, which no superhero is ever going to do, he does the exact same thing that she does to get into the multiverse, which is by, I can't remember, I mentioned walking or something, where he floats and goes into another version of himself from another universe, and he jumps into the dead version of himself, in which is against all the rules and all the rule books. Either way, he goes to the Scarlet Witch, who's floating and all that shit, and he basically tries to change her mind, because he knows he can't defeat her. He knows whatever he does isn't going to work, so instead he decides on trying to take her down by making her change her mind. And the way he changed her mind is showing that the children from another universe don't love her because she had been using the other version of herself in that world and then knocked her out and then was like, oh, the children are mine now. And instead the children didn't take too kindly to that, and after she sees that the children aren't taking kindly to her and that hate her and running away from her, then she starts to realise I've gone too far, and then decides to destroy all the sort of like dark shit and everything like that, and plans to not do the thing she was going to do beforehand, which was to do all this to see her children again and be in that family with them. Finally then, the actors and actresses used in this movie were perfect for the roles they played. I wouldn't say necessarily that there was anyone that looked misplaced, and I think that the highlights were probably Benedict Cumberbatch, who played Doctor Strange, who brought the quirkiness and coolness to his character, as well as having the nice funny side that he's got, similar to the nice like thing Iron Man had. He isn't as funny, granted, but I think he brings that funny leadership role, as you see in the likes of Spider-Man No Way Home. He's got that funny leadership side going on, and he's got that in this movie as well, sort of like sarky comments and things like that, in which I really like. And I also think that Elizabeth Olsen was the perfect villain in this movie as well, and she played it excellently. And I do not criticise if you hate this movie or you dislike this movie in this phase or in the MCU. I can see why you hate the movie as a whole, but because you expected more from the movie. However, if you're looking at individual actors, you cannot blame Benedict Cumberbatch and you cannot blame Elizabeth Olsen, because they were immense and perfect for the roles they played. However, not everything in this movie smelt of roses, which was the fact that this is probably the most overhyped MCU movie of all time, as this was hyped up to be the next step in the multiverse. This was meant to be the next step from Spider-Man No Way Home, showing us what we want to see, which is old favourites and old classic actors and actresses who used to play old Marvel characters return, as we wanted to see a new version of Blade or an old version of Blade come back. We wanted to see Ghost Rider make a return, Fantastic Four, the originals, making a return, or even a newer version of Iron Man making a sort of his comeuppance in a different universe, and show that it's not always the same person playing Iron Man in another universe. However, this wasn't mentioned at all, in which I thought they missed a trick here. And the fact that this was so overhyped, it was like, oh yeah, this is going to be in it, this is going to be it, this is going to be it. And all they had was Captain Carter out of the What If series, in which I think if you'd have asked people, would they have wanted it, they would have probably said no. Professor X, yes, we did want Professor X in there, played by Patrick Stewart, in which we got. However, we didn't want him to get killed like he did get killed, in which we're going to get onto that. That's our next point. And we also saw Reed Richards in this movie, but it weren't the whole of the Fantastic Four. And I don't even think it was the original guy that played him. I could be wrong about that, but it was more of a like, okay, we've got Professor X that we wanted, and then two people that we didn't necessarily want, but we got, so they are surprises, but they're very underwhelming. I also really dislike the fact how they used the ones they brought back. Professor X, they brought back Reed Richards, they brought back the likes of Haley Atwell to play Captain Carter. And what did they do? They killed them all off. And it's like, what? They cheese-stringed, obviously, Reed Richards, in which didn't need to happen, in my opinion. Same with Professor X, same with Captain Carter. And as soon as you've killed off the first one, I knew what was going to happen. I was like, Elizabeth Olsen's character is now going to kill the whole lot off. And it's like, you didn't need to do that. Whoever writ that up, I just think, yes, it's in another universe. Does it affect the thing in this universe? No, it doesn't. However, the chance for them to come back will get slimmer and slimmer. Obviously, yes, there's another universe probably with another Professor X in there and another Reed Richards and another whatever. However, I thought you misused the people that you brought in, and I just didn't like that. To summarise this movie, this was a decent follow-up to the first Doctor Strange movie. However, I didn't think it outshined the first movie. Hopefully, though, this movie leads up to future and better movies within the MCU, as it hopefully was a small stepping stone in this multiverse bollocks that they're doing at the minute. However, as a whole, this movie was very largely disappointing. It very underperformed, was overhyped. Hence why I've gave this rating a world-class film and a 7.5 out of 10. Also, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for alerted to all the new videos and content this channel shall be creating. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.